I thought I would do a video that you wouldn't normally expect me to do on this channel, because I'm not really sort of ranting about something, I'm more just explaining to you what some people describe as my obsession. I call it a passion. It is an absolute love for a family here on YouTube. The family that I speak of also go under the name on YouTube as Gay Family Values. They used to go under DepFox on here, and yeah, I just need to explain my point of view just for a minute. At the start of this year, I actually got to meet the LeFew family who make up Gay Family Values here on YouTube, and I was over the moon with it. And this year I've sort of taken their words and what they have said and preached it to the masses, and there's a good reason for that. Let me take you back a little bit in time and explain to you where my borderline obsession came from. A number of years ago, I was back living with my mum, and I was going through one of my depressive phases, which isn't always a good thing, but it was just a sort of time I just wanted time to myself. I shut myself away in my bedroom, and the rest of the world could just go and do one. I really wasn't interested in talking with other people, interacting with other people, couldn't be bothered with it. And it was on the news at some point over here in the UK about same-sex families, and it kind of struck me a little bit in the back of my mind, because I'd never really given it much thought as to, hang on, do these exist? So when I heard about it, and I was like, okay, I'll go and have a look. So I went onto YouTube and I just typed in a gay family, and I don't think it's one of their videos that showed up as one of the first ones, but I think after a couple of videos as to looking into this thing, I came across one of their videos, and I started watching, and I was like, okay, this is a little bit different. I'll give them, you know, a couple more videos. Let's see what this channel's about. Within those couple of videos, I ended up subscribing to their channel and have been subscribed ever since, because what I saw on that night was just a family. Like, it was more functional than the family that I'd been brought up with. It worked because it was showing me, even without them saying the words, it was showing me this is what my future can be. Like, if I want it, I can go and get it. And okay, yeah, they live in America, which is very sort of, the way of thinking is, if you have a dream, go and do it. You can make your dreams come true and everything like that. And I don't live in a part of the world, should I say, that sort of goes along with that mentality. We're the sort of British, so we're like, oh, if you have a dream, that's very nice, but sit down and have a cup of tea first. As time sort of progressed on, and I was obviously subscribed to their channel, so I was watching the new videos, and when I had the spare time, I was trying to catch up on the older videos that they had done, and I started to reach out to them, because things with the gay community had started to change over here in the United Kingdom, and one of the big things that got changed was to do with the blood donation ban. The rule had been over here in the United Kingdom that if people who identify themselves as LGB, or I think even T, could not donate blood, like, ever. It was a lifetime ban, and I sort of couldn't really make sense of that. And that was something that I took to social media about and said, this is wrong. We need to change this, because at the end of the day, I am no different. Just because I identify, I can eventually speak. Well done. I'm not editing this video much, by the way. I could sort of say, because I identify myself as a gay person, why shouldn't I be able to give blood? Because if I didn't go in there and be open about my sexuality, they would have the blood straight out of me, and no one's going to get ill because of that. Like, there is nothing that is going to happen, so I don't get what it is. So of course I kind of threw my voice in there, and I said this needs to change, and I was signing all the petitions, I was on about it on social media, everything like that, and the law got changed over here in the United Kingdom. The law got changed to say that people who identify themselves as gay or bisexual or whatever it is, basically those who have penetration up the bum, that they could donate blood, but they had to be celibate for a year. And I still don't understand how that can work, because they don't have a test to say Have you had sex in the last year? Because if they have, then like you can lie and still donate blood. And if you're a bit scared, you can go, oh, actually, yeah, I got a bit last night. Oh, off you go. It truly still puzzles me, that law. It really does. But that was one of the first times that I actually reached out to Jay and Brian. I can't even remember how I actually came across their email address. I think it must have been on YouTube somewhere. But I sent them an email, and it was a huge email, because I just wanted to sort of get my anger off my chest and sort of have a little bit of a rant and just go, how dare my government put this into law, you know? And I think it was either, because I know that there is a massive time difference between the UK and the USA and everything like that, and I think it was like a day or two after I got a response from Brian, who basically explained to me he's seen this thing happen many times before, and it will still happen in the future, that people will say, oh, well, the laws have changed for gay people, but all that's actually happened is the law has just been reworded. Like, it's still kind of the same stuff that's going on, but it's just different words. But it makes it look like that government has done a change. And it was when he said it, and I was like, actually, do you know, you're spot on with that. You're like, okay, you're switched on with this. Okay, I get it now. It wasn't too long after that, though, that I thought I was being quite sneaky on Facebook, because it came up like suggested friends. There's their profile. I'm like, oh my god, can I add these as a friend? I've emailed them. I have commented on their videos on YouTube. They've replied to my comments by now. Oh my god, can I add them as a friend? So I just thought, you know what, by the bullet, I was their friend. At the same time that all of this is happening, of course, they were still uploading content to YouTube, because Proposition 8 was still kind of going on in California, and we were back then in the early stages of marriage equality. Like, I remember it was sort of getting spoken about over here in the UK, but it wasn't getting brought up in Parliament anytime soon. That was not going to be happening. You know, there was a lot of protests that went on that weren't mentioned on the media in any form. We were all sort of looking over at America going, hang on, how are you handling this shit? Not long after that, I remember watching a video one day of theirs, and they said about the film that they were having made, that was being made about them. And I thought, okay, I want to see this film. So I kind of didn't know the setup at this point. I was just a bit like, I want to see this film. But they're in America, and I know that certain American channels on YouTube can just be like, oh no, we're just doing this for America. And then that's it. Like, if you're out of America, you are screwed. You just don't get to see it at all. So I remember I messaged Jay on Facebook one night, and I said, okay, what's the deal with the film? Am I going to get to see it? And he was completely honest with me and just said, listen, if you want to see the film, you need to help us get it over there, because we don't know cinemas, we don't have, you know, loads of money to invest in getting the film shown and that sort of thing. So I was like, okay, I will do it. I will get the film shown over here. I really will. And Jay was like, okay, nice one. I will help you any way that I can. So it's not long after that I started making the phone calls. I started looking into things. I tried to get sponsors for the event. I had this idea of what I wanted to do. And in my sort of previous work, doing the DJing and everything like that, you often find yourself getting roped into organising events. So you kind of have an idea, a sort of like, this is what needs to be done. These are the steps that I've got to take to get that done. And while I was like really busy online trying to organise everything, I remember one day getting a message off Jay, and I presume his head must have been on a different planet, because he messaged me and he said, do you happen to know any catering companies in San Francisco? Because we've got our film premiere over here, we've got it going on in the Castro, we've got everything sorted, but we want to try and put on a bit of food. So I was like, well, okay, I'll have a little look on Google. And I did. I found all these like amazing kitchens, and then looked at the prices, and I was like, yeah, that's never going to happen. And yeah, so I kind of got back to my own film screening and what I needed to do for that. Originally, my idea was going to be to hire a cinema and just have them show the film, and that would be it. nice and simple, everything done. And I remember getting in touch with the cinema, one of these independent cinemas in Manchester, and they said, okay, yeah, we have the dates available that you want. You can come and view the cinema. And I was like, okay, I will sort of do this. And it was quite expensive. And then I got in touch with Manchester Pride. Manchester Pride is one of, well, two local Pride events that happen during the summer over here in the United Kingdom, because I live in between Liverpool and Manchester. And I emailed Manchester Pride just completely as a last resort. I was like, oh, do you know what? They're a gay organisation. This is a gay film for gay people. I'll go to them for help. So I sent them an email, and I actually think, if memory serves me right, it was on the same day that I got the reply, because I'd sent them the trailer for the film that had been posted on YouTube, and they were so up for it, and they said, we need to get this shown. Please do it as a part of our Fringe Festival, which is like, because the Pride in Manchester is like a week long, and they have like the big weekend, which is all like the big singers and the big stages and everything like that. But then during the week, they actually have special events that go on. So it is things like theatres, there'll be art galleries that'll do stuff. There is loads that goes on. So they said, if you do it as part of the Pride Fringe, we will help with the funding. So I was like, nice one, let's get it done. They actually got me in touch with a small theatre in Manchester, and we arranged the cost. We arranged basically everything, like even down to me having a radio microphone, so as I can introduce the film and obviously talk about it afterwards. And I was like, okay, I can do this. God damn it, when I take to the stage at a party, like I have a crowd sometimes of like 200 people in front of me, I will get up on the stage, I will tell the really crap jokes, I will get them doing party dances, whatever it is. I can do it, and I can entertain a theatre, that's fine. So I kind of got a little bit excited about that, and I remember going home and I was telling Jay about the progress of it, and then he was explaining to me about the next couple of steps, which is, I'm not going to bore you with all of the details, but there was a couple more steps that I needed to take that I'd completely forgotten about. And one of the things that I said was, it would be really good if you guys could come over, but I know that it would be really expensive. And I went online. I presume that Jay must have been on the same website, because we both kept coming back with the same prices. And it was something like, the way that the flights wanted to go, it was going to take them like 24 hours to get here, because they literally had to fly from where they live over to another place. I think it was Chicago. Then they had to fly to London. Then they had to swap at London up to Manchester, and there was loads of waiting times and everything. Like, that would have been chaotic. And Jay was really up for it, and he said, I at least want to try and, I don't know, send Brian or something, try and get someone over there. But even the cost for one person was something like, oh god, what was it now? It was something like, I swear it was something like $5,000. Or it wasn't much less than that, if memory serves me right. So I think the pair of us came to an agreement. We were just like, that is too much to pay. Even if we set, because I was doing 2 screenings of the film, because we had the theatre for 8 hours. So I was like, okay, we're doing 2 screenings. And yeah, so we both sort of agreed that is too much. If we sell out both of these theatres, we're still not going to have enough to cover the cost of that flight. And then of course you've got like not so much accommodation, because I said to Jay, you can stay here, I've got a spare bed, everything like that, but it's like, it's extra transport, it's them, food, drink, everything like that. And that to me was just like, oh, that's too much money. I will just do this screening by myself. And yeah, I eventually got the screening of the film done, and it went down really, really well. And I got to see a side of Jay that I had never actually seen sort of in person before. I don't just mean here in terms of the film. I mean the film itself. If you ever still have the chance to watch the film, The Right to Love an American Family, obviously now Prop 8 in California doesn't really matter, because America now has same-sex marriage. So some of the details have changed, but it's a sort of snapshot as to the struggle that they, the LeFew family and other families were going through at the time. It is, even to look back on, it is still quite entertaining now to just go, wow, yeah, we were actually stuck in that stage once. That's really weird. But the side that I speak of, that I got to see in Jay, was his caring side. And I'd seen it in videos on YouTube, and you do sort of sit there and you're like, oh, that's sweet. But yeah, let me explain to you what happened. Basically, there was a guy that Jay had met called Talat. I think he probably won't mind me mentioning his name. And Talat lived in Turkey, and he'd met up with Jay, and Talat was coming over to the UK to study. And I remember at the end of one of the YouTube videos, and Jay turned around and said, my friend's in England, please look out for Talat, make sure he's okay. So I was a bit like, oh, I'd love to actually meet Talat. The thing is, though, I was sort of like, in the back of my mind, I was like, okay, well, Talat's over here, but he's the other end of the country, and I have no way of contacting him, so I can't meet up with him. And I got a message off Jay one night, and he just said, I know you've got this screen showing over there, would you be able to get Talat in to see the film? Because I took my laptop over with me to Turkey, but for some reason the film wouldn't show on my laptop. I really wanted to show him the film, and I couldn't do it. I was really disappointed. So I went, okay, that's fine, I will get him in. We've got a couple of tickets that we have to have for free anyway, so I will get him in on that. That's fine. So he's like, oh, thank you. Do you know any hotels, or can he stay with you or something like that while the screening's gone? So okay, yeah, I've got the spare bed, he can use it, that's fine. So I got to meet Talat, but the part of me that got really shocked by that was, I was like, here's this guy, the other side of the planet near enough, and here he is trying to organise shit for other people. I will say now, because he says in his own videos, Jay is a police officer. And if you're a police officer in any country around the world, a lot of your time is taken up on your job. And of course, if you've watched the DepFox videos or the Gay Family Values videos, you'll see that they are quite a busy family. Family life is busy at the best of times, but when you're like Jay and you've got to work these stupidly long shifts, that is sort of like you have no time for yourself situation, from what I can gather. You can totally tell family man here. So I got to see the caring side of Jay, and that really did get to me, because I was just like blown away by it. I was like, how nice is this guy? There wasn't a message that I sent that went unanswered. Jay or Brian would get back to me, because sometimes I would just go, I can't do this, I really can't do this, I've organised this, I've organised that, I've still got this to do, I've still got that to do. And one of them would get back to me and they're like, it's okay, have a breather, you can do it, we will help you any way that we can. And they were a massive help in getting the actual screening of the film done. After the screening of the film, I sort of took a different view on the family. The YouTube channel had sort of opened my eyes to certain things that were happening in the gay community, and obviously how their life as a family unit operate and everything like that, and it was fascinating. And I remember seeing the film, and even at some points in the film you have to kind of choke it back a little bit. You're like, ooh, that's a bit, and especially the ending. I won't say what happens in the ending, but it's, oh god, like I was sat there with the radio mic in my hand shaking, and I'm like, I can't get up, I am about to cry, this is, oh my god. And the reason that my opinion changed so much is because I had sort of a lot of contact with them, and it's something that I've never really spoken about loads, but I don't have a relationship with my dad. He's an alcoholic, and there is a half ton of crap there that I'm not going to go into for now and just build that wall up again. But the thing is, when you see that family working, and you you can try and sit there and go, okay, well, Brian's the mum and Jay's the dad. You can try and do that, but you see that it is teamwork that helps that family to go on. And a part of me sat there for ages re-watching the videos on YouTube and going, I never had that. Like, my dad would be there financially for me and my brother, but he would never sort of really spend time with us and go and do activities with us, even though he was working all of these hours that he did. You know, he was never sort of there time-wise. You know, he liked to drink on a daily basis. He lost jobs because of it. And when the relationship with my dad broke down, I kind of didn't miss it all that much. And that sounds really sad, doesn't it? But I didn't, because it was causing me quite a lot of stress, because you're just thinking, oh shit, I've got to phone my dad again, he's going to be drunk. Like, you know, same old stuff again. And it was after the film, rewatching these videos, and I was like, do you know what, I would have killed to have had either one of them as a dad growing up. Like, just the way that they are and the way that they have their relationship with their children is incredible. And it is the sweetest thing to watch, but it makes me reminisce and go, I wish I had that. Bring back the music, the sentimental shit is over. Well, almost, anyway. After the screening of the film, of course, Jay and Brian kept uploading videos to YouTube. I kept watching, we kept commenting. We would message each other back and forth on Facebook, and we would have chats about everything, and it was really, really good. Then I got the news they were coming to England. Yay! I was over the moon, because I was like, oh, holy shit, they're coming over here. I'm going to get to meet them. Oh my god. So as soon as I finished watching the video, I was straight onto Facebook and I'm like, Jay, we've got to meet up. Oh my god. I get a reply a couple of days later and he's like, okay, we're in the early stages of planning the trip here. We've got a couple of things that we want to do, but we are going to try and meet up with, you know, as many people as we can while we're over there. So I was like, oh my god. Oh my shitting god, I'm going to get to meet them. Oh my god. So over the coming months, we got to find out the details, when they were coming over, when they wanted to meet up with people and everything like that. And I was just blown away. Like, my mind, it just went into meltdown. And I remember I got into a relationship sort of quite late on in the year. And one of the first films that I showed my boyfriend was The Right to Love an American Family, and I was like, you know, these are Jay and Brian. They have a very special place in my heart because of what they've done, and I will explain fully what I mean when I say that a little bit later. But you know, and he fully understood it, and I said, okay, well, they're coming over for New Year's Eve, and they're going to be in London. They're not coming up here. So it's either I go and see them or I miss out, and this is like a once in a lifetime thing here, so I need to go. And my boyfriend said, okay, do you want to go by yourself? And I was like, nah, you can come with, it's like a mini holiday for us. So we went, okay, we packed up the cars, we went down to London. Well, I say cars, one car. We went down to London, we had the hotel, we were there for New Year's Eve, and we got to see the fireworks, and I had my dog with me, and it was just a dream. The day after, on New Year's Day, I remember just being on this weird cloud, going and walking around London, and just thinking in the back of your mind, shit, I could bump into them at any time, and I'm hungover from last night, so this is not good. And then I messaged Jay, and I was going, is everything still okay for tomorrow? Is everything still on? Are we still meeting up? And Jay's like, yeah, just calm down a bit. So I was like, okay. So I sort of had everything planned. Me and my boyfriend, we went back to the hotel room. We ordered in a pizza. We slept all night through. Like, we were knackered. We were so tired. And the next day came. I woke up so early on that day. I was like a kid on Christmas morning that is like sat at the front door waiting for Santa to walk in. Like, I swear to God, I'd never been so excited. And I went and got ready, and my boyfriend Sonny sat on the bed and he's going, "You do know we don't actually have to be there for like another 2 hours." And I'm like, I don't care, I'm ready, come on, get ready, let's go. And he's going, "We don't need to leave this soon. What are we going to do? Like, the pub doesn't even open like until later on." And I think we said, I swear we said we were going to meet up at 11 or 12. It was something like that. Yeah, I can't remember what it was, but it was early anyway. And so we went into London. We had a brief walk round to the pub where we'd said that we were going to meet up. And I sat there, and my boyfriend's going, "Do you want a drink?" And I'm like, "I want a drink. I seriously want a drink. I don't want to be drunk, but I need a drink. Just calm me down." So we went and got a beer, came back out, we sat outside, because it was nice and sunny, it wasn't too cold, and you're in London. And I don't know if any of you guys will have seen my trip to London. It does appear, my friend Sam is right, it does appear that I have an obsession with the Shard in London. I don't have an obsession with the Shard. I should just point that out right now in case you have seen the video. I'm not obsessed with the Shard. It's fucking big and I got it confused with the Crane. It's not my fault. Long story, you have to watch that video. So anyway, so we sat outside and we were talking away, and I look over and there's two people walking down, and I recognise them because they are friends of mine that I have on Facebook who I actually hadn't heard from in a long time. Because I'd wanted to make sure that they were going to come and meet Jay and Brian, because they'd been to see the film, and I had it in the back of my head and I'm going, "You are not the only one that is going to go and meet them. You're not the only one that's going to go and meet them. There are other people there. When they turn up, shut the fuck up, just listen to them, enjoy the day." So I kind of had these rules set out in my head, and yeah, so we were there was the four of us outside and we're talking away, and then other people were starting to come in, and we were literally just turning around to anyone walking past, like, "You here for Jay and Brian?" Like, "Yeah." So yeah, so we had this little group, and I was halfway through talking about Cher, of all topics to be talking about when you're about to meet your gay idols, right? And yeah, and then someone turned around and they said, "Oh, here's Jay." And I will never forget, it was like time stood still for me, I swear to God. And I remember looking over down this alleyway, because we were at the pub, which is like sort of hidden away from the main road, and I remember looking down the alleyway and just being like, "Where am I looking?" And like, you know how you always do it with celebrities? When you go to a concert, for example, and you go and see, like, I don't know, Madonna or something like that, you look at them on the stage and you're like, "Jesus Christ, how small are they?" I had the same thing with Jay. He was walking down in this beige coat, and I remember going, I thought he was taller than that. Like, oh my God, he's a bit smaller than me, I think. So he walks over, you hear him talking, and in the back of your mind you're going, "This isn't on YouTube. This is not YouTube. This is real life. Holy fucking shit, he's in front of you." And he came over, and I can't remember what his exact words were, but it's something like, "We eventually get to meet." And he gave me this hug, and I was just like, oh my God. Like, I could have so easily passed out at that point. I so could have. And then Daniel came over, and Selena came over, and Brian came over, and of course we all hug and shake hands and everything like that. And yeah, I remember Brian turning around to Daniel and saying, "Didn't you have a question for him?" And Daniel going, "Yeah, do we call you Kev or Bev?" It's like, oh, shit, they know about me. Oh my God, what have I said? What are you? Oh my God. Like, you know, he's just like, there's a comment and everything, like, I was so scared. And And of course, it makes it more pressurized because, like, I have one chance of meeting these. Like, if I say something wrong, they're gonna hate me, and I will never have a chance to put that right. Like, I can do a million YouTube videos, send a million Facebook messages saying I'm really sorry. They are never gonna forgive you. You could be hated here. This could be it. Kaput, gone. So I was really putting myself on edge, and we said, okay, let's all go in, and none of us knew the layout of this pub. And if you ever go, oh god, what's it called now? I think it's called the George Inn or something like that. It's near, I think it's London Road Underground Station, I think. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's such a blur. You wouldn't think it was only a couple of months ago, right? But anyway, it's the most confusing layout of a pub ever. Like, they have staircases that you go inside, but then when you come outside you're on a balcony. It's so confusing. So we went upstairs, we went into this room that we thought we could. There was no lights on or anything like that, and we all go into this little far room around the corner. We all pull our seats in and we get talking, and I remember sitting with my boyfriend Sonny at the back and just being so nervous, and everyone else had sort of like moved into this circle, and I'm just sat there and I'm like, oh my god, they're here, they're in the same room. Shit, like, oh my god, this, oh my god, what do you do? And yeah, and then I remember seeing Jay just leaning over and he's like, are you not coming and joining us? I'm like, hey, yeah, come and join. And moving my seat over a little bit, and I think I tried to join in the conversation before I was rudely interrupted by this member of staff who came up and he was like, this part of the building's closed, so kind of don't know what you're doing here. So I'm like, okay. So we all got told you can go downstairs, go into this other door from the 7 doors that are on the front, and yeah, so I'm like, okay, we're gonna go outside again. I need to have a fag. Calm myself down, I need to have a fag. So I remember sort of moving myself away from the building and having this cigarette, and I'm like, they're going to be so disappointed in me because I smoke. So I'm like hiding it behind me. And I remember Brian coming out the door and he's like, are you not coming in with us? And I'm like, I'm totally not even smoking. And he's like, oh, okay. And just walked in, and I'm like, shit, does he hate me now? He's going to hate me. Oh my god. So I remember turning around to my boyfriend like, can we get another drink? Can we get another drink? I'm so nervous right now. So we went into this room. Everyone else from the group had gone in and sat down, and part of me felt a little bit disappointed when I was outside, because I was like, do you know what? Fair play to them. These other people probably have an even deeper connection than I feel that I've got with these guys, but they need to meet them as well. This isn't just about me. I'm not the special one today. And I remember going in and thinking, there's not going to be any seats near. Like, this is going to be one of them things like, oh, can you just move your chair a bit and just put a table in here and I'll just sit around this one and just like half a mile away from everyone. Well, shit me, didn't I just walk in? There was two empty seats opposite each other. One of them is in between these other people that have turned up. One of them is in between Jay and Brian. Like, these people that I've been looking up to for years, and like I said, I will explain to you why in a little bit, but there's this seat in between them, and I actually froze. I stood there with I think I had 2 glasses at this point because I hadn't finished my first drink, and I stood there and I'm like, shit, what do I do? I can't just go and plonk myself in the middle of them. Like, what do I do? Oh my god. And I think it was Brian that turned around and he was like, oh, there's a seat here, and pointed to the one next to him. I'm like, oh my god, shit, oh my god, I'm gonna sit next to them, oh my god. So I remember going and sitting next to them, and they were talking to other people at the time, and I was just sat there, and I remember just kept looking at my boyfriend. I'm like, oh my god, like, they're there, like, they're next to me, oh my god. I've waited for this for years. I idolise these guys, and now I'm sat next to them, and this is unbelievable. And I remember actually getting my camera out and just filming a little bit for YouTube, where they're both talking to the other people and I'm here with the camera, and I'm like, and he like point it so you can see one person, then point it and you see the other. Craziness. And then Brian turned round and started talking to me. And of course, I'm feeling a little bit more calmer. The first drink is starting to take effect. I'm a little bit more calmer now. And I think since I got my first reply off Brian on the email, where he said about the laws changing and it's just the words that change, not the actual law, I've always sort of respected Brian, because I've been like, okay, you're the thinker. You know what you're on about when you go into topics and that sort of thing. Like, you research this stuff. So I've always wanted to pick at his brain, just because he has been out a lot longer than I have. He has seen a lot more than I have. You know, when I came out, the world was so much more accepting of gay people than it was when Brian came out. You know, and the things that he's learned over the years, I'm quite sure he could write a book, and it would be a really, really interesting read. So I, of course, am there going, well, no, and nattering away for ages. And I remember Jay kept turning around trying to talk to me, and I'm just like, yeah, okay. And just talking to Brian, it was so good. And then, obviously, people on that side have kind of talked to Jay, and people on that side have talked to Brian, so they swapped. And the conversation starts again, and I'm just there, like, looking at my boyfriend, actually saying to my boyfriend, I wish they had curtains on that window, because there was just this little ray of light that was shining in, and it didn't matter what position I was going in, it was there, like, just blinding me. So I'm sat there and I'm like, yeah, this is really good. And yeah, and then I eventually got to talk to Jay, and you know, Jay, I presume if you have ever watched any of their videos, you will kind of get that Jay is the sort of activist of the family. Like, if there is a protest and he feels strong enough in that cause, he'll be at the front holding the placard. Like, he's so full of passion about equality and about, you know, the sort of standards that we should be living at. And he has an incredible way of looking at the world. And you know, when you watch the YouTube and you find out some of the things that Jay has gone through in the past, and you see the sort of person that he is today, he is an incredible man. He really is. So of course I want to pick at his brain as well, and we carry on talking, and you know, Jay and Brian left to go and order some food, and I was talking to Daniel and Selena, and I'm like, oh my god, like, you know, when you feel really nervous because you're like, if I upset these kids, not only am I going to be sent home from London, no one's ever going to talk to me again. Like, I will be thrown out of the gay community so fast. So I was really nervous. And obviously in the trip they had been over to Spain. I was asking a little bit about how that, and what they thought of Spain and the travels and everything. It is really good. And then we went on this walk through London, and I will never ever forget in my life just possibly the most awkward but funny thing that could have ever happened, and it showed how out of shape I am. So we are walking through London city centre. We wanted to go over towards the Eye and the Houses of Parliament and that sort of area, because we wanted to sort of have our own booth on the London Eye, and you know, it'd be that good. So we start walking over, and I by this point have had 3 pints of beer. My boyfriend has had 3 pints of cider. Jay and Brian had a pint or so each. So we're walking along, and my boyfriend does suffer with disability with his foot, so it means that he can't walk as fast as the rest of us. So Brian actually, without even knowing that my boyfriend had this condition, or whatever you call it, he dropped back from the group, and he stayed and talked to us, and we were walking along, and I can't remember who said it first. I think it was Brian, actually. We were walking along, and when you go through London city centre, if you're walking along the Thames, can't remember the name of the station, but there is actually a train station sort of like on the bank of the Thames. And Brian turned around. He said, "Oh, I can't do American accents, by the way." But he's like, "I could really use a restroom." So I'm like, "Yeah, I actually could too, just to be kind of non-disgusting here." I was like, "Well, there is a tube station there, so we can go in and try and use the toilet in there." So Brian's like, "Yeah, okay." So he calls Jay, and Jay gets the rest of the group to stop. And me and Brian are like, "Okay, we'll go and find these toilets. We'll be back in a couple of minutes." We walk into the station. There is nothing on the ground level. All the barriers are open. We go in. You go up these flights of stairs, and there's like a couple of ticket machines and stuff, and we're like, there is no toilets. There's other doors and everything like that, and like, there is no toilet. So we found this cleaner. Bearing in mind, Brian kept saying to me, "Let's just go back to the group. We'll find somewhere else." And I'm like, "No, we've come this far to go to the toilet. We'll just go in the toilet." So I found this cleaner. I'm like, "Where are the toilets?" And the cleaner was just like, "Oh, they're just on the other side of the station." So I'm like, "Brian, come on, it's fine. I know these stations." Big mistake. I will never forget the fear in my head when me and Brian walked up the steps to then realise that this train station goes across the Thames. Like, I swear to God, this train station is like half a mile long. It is ridiculously big. So we're sort of like, we've come this far, let's just go for it. And Brian was like, "I think we need to run because we're keeping the group waiting." So I'm like, "Yeah, okay." Well, Brian does 10 times more exercise than I do. And it's not to say that he's an athlete, it's not to say that he goes out running, but he's in a better shape than I am. So we start running. I get like halfway across the station, I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm going to die. I'm actually going to die." And Brian's sort of like keeping pace with me, and we're sort of going along, and I'm like, "Oh my God," turning into this sweaty mess. We get onto the other side. We're then running down the stairs. We go rush through this ticket barrier, straight over to the toilets. We obviously go and do our business in the toilets. We come back out, use our tickets, go through, and we run back. So there is actually a clip on YouTube of when I met Jay and Brian, where I'm actually trying to record this on YouTube. Bearing in mind, I'm trying to run at the same time, so the camera's going all over the place. And oh my God, it is the most funniest but awkward moment ever. And then because we were on the other side of the platform for some reason, and there's like 10,000 different sets of stairs that we've got to go down to get to the group. And it took us, honest to God, I think we must have been gone about 10, maybe even 15 minutes. We were gone a while. And when we get back, and Jay makes this joke on camera, and he's like, "Where have you been with my husband?" He's like, I've not been doing that. Trust me. Don't hate me, please." And you're like, I know he's joking, but seriously, that man could hate me. So I'm not going to mention it. And then we go along, and we see that the queue for the London Eye is massive, and we just have this incredible day. And I think it literally did break my heart when we had to say goodbye. Because they had to get a flight early in the morning, so they needed an early night. Like, even though we'd met up for a couple of hours, and we'd gone and done some of the touristy stuff and everything like that, like, they weren't going to get much sleep anyway, so they wanted a little bit more sleep. So they started walking off, and I said, "Okay, well, there's this thing by our hotel that takes you up over the Thames in the carriage thing, and we're gonna go and do that, because that is our hotel over there. Like, you see that building lit up, that's where we're staying." They're like, "Oh, okay, well, we've got to go on the tube and everything like that." And then yeah, I had to say goodbye to them, and I really didn't want to go and say goodbye to them. That is one of them days I just wished it could have gone on forever. I really do. It was just so good to meet them. And eventually, they walked off in their way, we walked off in our way. Me and my boyfriend went back to the hotel, and we made our way back up north, back home. So since then, of course, I will always try and message Jay and Brian whenever I can, and they will always try and message me, and I'm always watching their YouTube and commenting on everything that they do, and they are just a tremendous family. Like, I find it hard to kind of sum up in words exactly how I actually feel about them, because I have so much admiration for not only for what they do, but how they do it. You know, they uploaded these videos, their first couple of videos, years ago. Social media back then wasn't as accepting of gays as it is now. Yet, they put not only themselves, but their way of life and their family up for criticism. And I've seen some of the comments over the years, and I can tell you now they have had all the criticism that people can throw at them. They've been called every name under the sun. They have been told that they that they should stop their YouTube videos, I think it was, or the Westboro Baptist Church will come and protest outside their house. They've been told that they are what was it now? There was something that got said about them being religious, and someone said, well, you can't be, your religion hates you, how can you be religious? And they have had some of the comments, and you look at them and you think, that is a despicable person who writes that sort of stuff. And you know, they still continue to upload to YouTube despite all of the negativity, because they saw the positivity. Jay's reasoning for uploading to YouTube is because he didn't see enough of the gays and the gay families that would be affected by same-sex marriage rules, be them good or bad. There wasn't any family saying, this is what we are like, we are normal people. And he did it. He put his family there. And some of the things that they've gone on to do, like they've had Daniel with his letter to one of the justices in America, and you know, he got to read his letter out loud at a rally in front of all these hundreds of people. It got taken onto television, radio. You know, some of their videos have been literally played all over the internet. They have changed so many minds, and it is incredible to see it. And I haven't even been there for the full length of that journey. Yeah, I didn't subscribe to them when their first video went up. I joined them sort of part way through their battle, and I still feel a sort of sense of real pride and happiness for them when the laws recently got changed around same-sex marriage. Let me show you something though, because I want you guys to see this, to understand where I come from when I say it's not just what they do, but it's how they do it. Watch this.
Me and Brian obviously have a lot invested in marriage equality. I mean, Brian is the love of my life, and he's the person that I want to spend my life with. And, you know, I get that marriage is important to us, and it's important to people like us. But our kids have been our rock. You know, on the days when me and Brian have wanted to give up, Daniel and Selena have truly, you know, kept us focused. Daniel's speech to the Supreme Court Justice John Roberts, who voted against us, you a-hole. And Selena's music video, Two Fathers, and all the work that they've done on behalf of their dads have really meant a lot to us. Mm-hmm. So, you know, marriage is important not only to gay men and gay women, but to their kids and our families. So thank you, Supreme Court, for making the right decision and finally putting this case to bed, to rest, whatever you want to say. Until next time, you two.
Congratulations.
Bye.
And I believe that our love found its way through the current as the waves crash down.
Oh, you big softy. You okay? What's going on? Don't make it so big.
I mean it, Daniel. I say I appreciate what you guys have done for us. Okay? I mean, you've given up a little bit of your childhood to do this with us. I love you.
Now, okay, Jay is probably not going to be the most impressed man that I put that clip in, but can you see the raw emotion that is in the video? Like, it is tears of what I can only presume as happiness. You know, they got the same-sex marriage that they have been campaigning for and YouTubing for years, and they got it. You know, and the whole family have been behind the cause, and it has been incredible to watch them from an outsider's point of view. To get to meet them is so incredible, and I so wish that they just carry on being themselves, and that's the only thing that I could actually wish for in the future. You know, they are people who, even me, the most over-opinionated gobshite on YouTube, well, certainly on this channel, but they still have so much that they can teach even me. You know, they have a completely different way of looking at the world than I do, and you can see over the past couple of years the journeys that they have been on. And it's just incredible. It really is. So when people ask me, why do you feel the way that you do about gay family values, and why don't you shut the fuck up about them, the truth of the matter is I have so much respect for them. Not only for the way that they took themselves onto YouTube and threw the gates open for criticism, for positive comments, for whatever it was, they threw themselves open to that. They changed minds, and that deserves massive respect anyway. They had the patience to talk to people that at the start of conversations would be so against their way of life, but Jay and Brian would talk to them and educate them, and again change their minds. I have an absolute love for them because they are just the cutest family ever. Like, you know, they always say help out your neighbour. I swear to God, if they were my neighbours, I would be over the moon. Like, they're the right amount of crazy and normal. Like, I have so much respect for them because of not only what they've done on YouTube, not only the way that they conduct themselves, but the fact that they are still willing to do it. And if same-sex marriage tomorrow got banned again, they would be straight on YouTube to put the message back out and say, this is us, we're normal, and this is what we want. And I think we need more people like that in this world. We really do. To open up about things. I was talking last night to a friend of mine who's Muslim, and I was saying about how, you know, most of the world these days seems to be sort of set against Muslims, and they don't have an understanding of Islam and everything like that. And he said, well, how do we change that? And in the back of my mind straight away, it's like, Jay and Brian. Not them to do it, but what they have done. Open up, talk about your problems, show people that you are normal, answer their questions, teach where you can, and overall change minds. So that is it. I probably am going to have to rebrand the channel as Bev Rambles, because this video has been going on for some time. I know, because I had to edit it. So listen, if you've got this far, thank you so much for watching. They are my favourite topic to talk about. I absolutely, oh my god, I love them to bits. I really, really do. And I hope that if anyone's watching this who's never seen them, please go and see their channel. I'll put a link to it below. I will put a link to the London trip that I had, and I'll put a link below to the video that I made when I got to meet Jay and Brian, which is just one of the happiest days, and I swear to God, it is the best way to start off your year. Also kind of the worst one, because your year for me, kind of can't get any better than that, but it's worth a try, isn't it? If by any chance that Jay and Brian are still watching this and haven't fallen asleep, well done, because they know from in person how much I can ramble. And the only thing that I would say to them is don't give up on YouTube. There is so much that they can talk about, so many different topics, so many different points of view that even differs from mine, you know, and having a different perspective on something, even if it's just in the news and it's the dreaded political topic, it's still really interesting to watch them do it on YouTube, and it's been incredible, and I really hope it is. So thank them and thank you. See you later.